take your life seriously.
We're back, new location. Look at this.
We are back. And yes, if you are watching this on YouTube, we do have a new location. Ricky, why do we have a new location?
Well, a few issues. Mark's laid up at the minute, so we came over to his house to do it over here. And we do, all the kit we have got is all collapsible as well because we're traveling quite a lot. So we do like to try and get out and about and record different places. But this is a good setup. How you feeling, mate? Recovered-ish? Or
Yeah, let's tee this up. Let's put some context to this podcast. So what we're going to talk about today, ironically, is rest and recovery and strategies for optimizing and having effective recovery periods after strenuous physical activity. And the reason I am laid up is because I did not employ effective recovery strategies after a strenuous physical period. And I got a leg infection. So my left leg has a small open wound in it at the minute. When I get these, when I rarely do get them, probably I think I've had 3 of these in 16 years. But when I do, they come with a 40-degree fever and all that other fun stuff. But all that's gone now. I'm over that. I've just got a little wound to heal, which is why Ricky has been kind enough to collapse all the equipment and bring it to my home, to my man cave, to my Shangri-La, where we're going to talk a little bit about rest and recovery. And actually, you know, this is almost like good cop, bad cop, because I'm talking about it from a point of view of not employing good and effective recovery strategies. You're going to talk about it, I think, from a different place, having just been on a week's relaxing holiday with your family, employing very good recovery techniques.
Yeah, definitely am. And I think I need that holiday more than what I thought I did. And I think sometimes it is recovery from physical activities, but the mental activities can play a big part on how the physical body is recovering as well. So I think we're going to go into that
absolutely
as well today.
That's super important too.
Because, you know, you're busy physically and you're busy mentally, like a lot of us are. And I think sometimes we underestimate the mental fatigue that we have just from day-to-day life, business, family, and strains like that. So we need to sort of talk about those. So top tips, we're going to just rattle through it. We're going to do this one today as a rapid fire podcast. So it's going to be a short format one. The intro should come up at the start as rapid fire. Just a shorter format. Okay. So it's going to be a bit more, you know, information.
Punchy.
Yeah. Bite size.
Straight to the point. So let's dive in with my favorite, which is the importance of sleep.
Boom.
Sleep.
I think it's number one. It's cheap. It's free.
Yeah.
Not even cheap. It's free.
It's enjoyable.
It's enjoyable. But I feel like it's one of the hardest to actually do, even though it's cheap, even though we know how good it is for us. It's just so hard to implement when you're busy. You've got a family. You want to see them. You want to do stuff in the day. You want to get up early in the morning and then trying to get those 7 to 9 hours. And if you're training, really, it's got to be more closer to 9 hours than it is 7, but it's so hard to do. So we're going to talk about probably some stuff that's going to enhance, if you're getting 7 hours, how do you make that feel like 9 hours or improve that sort of deeper sleep where you're going to get more recovery.
Yeah, I think with sleep, it's definitely quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people listening I think everyone can relate to this. Everyone must have experienced this once or twice in life, but sometimes you might crash at 8 at night, wake up 10 in the morning and feel like you haven't slept at all because unbeknown to you, you've been restless, tossing, turning, waking up, micro-napping, whatever it is, and you're not getting good, deep, quality sleep. And then on other occasions, you can go out and you can literally power through a day with loads of energy on 6 hours sleep because whether you know it or not, or whether you've done it intentionally or not, you've got good, solid, deep, high levels of good quality sleep. So there are a few things you can do to promote quality, deep sleep. We got a couple notes, but a lot of this I think is just because we practice this daily. So do you want to kick this off with some tips on how to get good quality?
Yeah,
deep sleep?
and I don't think. Well, I'm not going to go into science. I don't know if you're.
No, we're not scientists, mate. We're not scientists.
It's more on the feel, okay? Because I train quite a lot. If you don't know my background, I'm a full-time BJJ athlete, which means I train quite a lot. I'm busy in other areas as well. I've got 2 young kids and a wife. So some of these things we've just implemented and just found they help. Maybe different for both of us, but we do some of the same things as well. So I'll kick off the first thing with the amount of sleep. So I know it's not always the most important, but I feel like if you could put in an extra hour of sleep, as well as some of the other tips that we'll give on later on, it'll make a massive difference. You just have to do the numbers sometimes. 1 extra hour of sleep a day, over the week equates to an extra 7 hours of sleep, which is an extra day. So you imagine you're getting an extra day recovery, sleep in that position where your body is just recovering. It's, if that was a drug or a pill that you could take, it would sell out. It'd be millions and millions. And if you keep equating that, a month is 4 days. And then if you keep going into years, I've just worked that out just now, it's around about 50 days, 48 days, around about 48 days, 12. Doing the maths on top of my head, 4 days a month extra is around about 48 days a year. So you're like literally in bed an extra month and a half just from 1 hour of sleep. I did this maths with my wife Rebecca because she looks about 25, I look about 55.
Fair one. That's right. That's accurate.
And I've said it's because we've done the math. I reckon she sleeps 2 hours more than me every day. And that we worked it out, and it was something like she's ended up being in bed an extra 5 years more than me over a lifetime. I was like, that's why you look so young, because you've spent 5 years in bed. Yeah. So just that extra hour of sleep is super hard. So we probably can go into some tips of how we can do that and stuff like that. I don't know where would you go next with this one.
We were talking about this off air. Mm-hmm. I've become a big fan recently of like micro napping in the day.
Yes.
So generally around lunchtime, maybe before lunchtime, maybe just after lunchtime. I eat a light lunch. I don't like to have a heavy lunch because I find that makes me sluggish for the afternoon period. But 20 to 25 minutes now, I'll set my alarm. I'll literally, it's that state where you're not quite awake, not quite asleep. Mm-hmm. You're kind of almost aware of things going on, but you're in that relaxed, peaceful state. And then the alarm goes off and I wake up and I swear to God, sometimes it feels like I've had it for 8 hours. Mm-hmm. And you imagine, you're talking about numbers, right? You add that 20 to 25 minutes up just for 5 days a week. If you do that every day, and anyone can do it in their lunch period, right? You can find a place to go and have a nap in your car, wherever it is. I do it sometimes even on the school run. I'll put like a meditation thing on and bang out 20 minutes before the kids come out of school. But you add those up over time again, you're racking up some serious numbers. It's not an inconvenience in your day. It's not, you're not going out of your way to do this. You can do this anywhere at any time, whatever suits you and fits into your day. But those numbers do add up and they are really beneficial. If you haven't tried, what am I talking about? Everyone's tried napping. Naps are awesome. Awesome. I mean, you can dig into the science of it and the optimum time and test and adjust for yourself. But I would advise against going too long, like 40 minutes to an hour, I think is a bit too much. Yeah. That's when you wake up feeling groggy and sluggish. But 20, 25 minutes, it is awesome. I find it mega beneficial for me. I think you're right there. And I think it sometimes feels... Well, okay, I'll tell you my routine. So if there are any athletes out there, what I recommend doing is what I do is I train really hard in the morning. I don't really have time to eat that much. I always have breakfast. I have like a shake, say midday. And then when I come home for lunchtime, which is normally about 1-ish, I'll have a big meal, carb heavy, because I've trained loads. We'll talk about food a bit later on. Not only are you going to need those carbs, but if you're training, you are going to need those carbs. And then I'll feel super tired, okay? Then I'll have 20 minutes, maybe 15, 25 minutes, as you said, any more than that, and I wake up feeling really groggy. I don't normally set a time alarm, to believe it or not, because I feel like my body just pings me up out of, unless I've got something on, then I need to set an alarm. But then I'll go back and I'll do my strength and conditioning about 2 days a week, and I need to have that nap before I do the strength and conditioning. My strength coach even says that my strength goes up. You can just see I'm more awake. I'm firing a bit faster if I'm doing jumps or explosive movements.
So there's definitely something in that nap that's sort of physical and it's sort of mental on the brain where you get that little fatigue. And I think I think it was Albert Einstein used to fall asleep with like a spoon or something, or ball bearing in his hand. Yeah. So when he like fell out, he woke up, and that's where he'd get most of his sort of ideas from. I feel like you're touching almost on the subconscious and conscious thing when you're napping. You're there, so your ideas sort of spring up into mind. So I think that mental rest and that physical rest is important. But if you looked at it, 25 minutes of your day is not a lot of time to sort of give yourself, and the benefits are massive. I don't think it's physical. I probably think it's more your brain's resting, I would guess, at that. I mean, I don't know the science behind it, because we all sit down for 25 minutes and that's all you're doing basically, but you're asleep. But something, it does work.
Yeah. And people won't be listening going, I don't have 25 minutes in a day. I guarantee if you did a time audit for a week and saw how much time you spent doom scrolling through Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, you could easily find 25 minutes. It's more a question of choice, whether you choose to do that or not. Now, one of the things I think is really important as well, and this is going to seem really, really boring, and this is not for everybody. For people like yourself, professional athlete, I think this is quite important. For someone like me, I'm not a professional athlete, but as a triple amputee, the energy expenditure and demands on my body are a lot higher than an able-bodied person. So this is important to me so that I can function the next day. But it's having a routine. So it's like in the evenings, you want to be trying to go to bed at the same time every night and then waking up the same time every day. So your body gets used to that rhythm. And that's when it takes a while, but then it kind of almost like hones in on, right, this is my recovery period. I know this now. And it puts all its effort into that recovery. So I try, and I'm not great at it, but I try not to be on a device from like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the evening. Mm-hmm. I generally spend an hour watching rubbish on telly like Family Guy or something from 9 till 10 just to unwind my mind from all the stuff that's gone in the day. And then I'll switch the telly off at 10. And then from 10 till 5:15, that's my routine, as much as I can possibly do it. Yeah. It's not always possible, out and about. Sometimes when you're traveling and training and working, you can't always stick to that routine, but I'll stick to it as close as I possibly can so my body understands the rhythm that I'm in the routine.
Yeah, I think that routine, that nighttime routine's important. We can talk about some quick things we do for the bedroom as well. You all know about it probably now, the keeping everything dark as possible. So you use blackout blinds.
I've got the entire top floor of my house is kitted out with blackout blinds.
Nice.
My kids hate it. Well, they're used to it now. Yeah. But they used to wake up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet and they couldn't see anything. They'd be bumping into the walls and trying to turn all the lights on. But now they're used to it, and I've explained to them why it's like that and the benefits of that. But blackout blinds are awesome. But there are a few little things you need to do to complement the blackout blinds. So this is going to seem like a little bit nutty, but I put masking tape over the skybox with a little blinking light.
Nice.
The TV, the little red standby light. I won't charge anything overnight, like my prosthetic legs, my toothbrush, my hair trimmers. I won't, because I don't want the light. And people will be like, oh, it's only a tiny little light, can't make that much of a difference. Consciously, it won't make a difference, but subconsciously, it will wake you up in the middle of the night. So I try to be like, it's almost like, I guess what it was like living through the Blitz, like black out the entire house. So you get that deep rest. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Deep sleep. And then in the morning when I wake up, I do the complete opposite and open those curtains as quick as I can to feed that sunlight into my system to wake my body up. But yeah, blackout blinds are, and I think me and you both do the same thing when we travel, because we've shared hotel rooms before, where you go to somewhere that maybe isn't equipped with blackout blinds. Then you've got the mask, the sleep mask.
Yeah, I think we use the same one.
What was it called?
Recommended to me. I can't remember.
I did tell you what it was called.
Yeah, I don't know. There's loads on Amazon. You can get them pretty cheap. They're sort of about £5 to £7. A sleep mask, really important. I've even now, because I'm not as lucky as you to actually be able to block out the whole house. My wife's not on the board yet with that, but I think she might have to get on board with it. So in my bedroom, blackout blinds, curtains over the top of my blackout blinds. Device is hard for me because sometimes you're busy and you have to, you know, it's almost like when you go to sleep, you're about to go to sleep, everything that you was meant to do in the day, or you trying to plan for the next day, I need to text that person, or should I answer back this email, whatever it is. So sometimes I have to look at my device. I bought myself some blue blocker glasses off Amazon.
I got those too, blue light blocking glasses.
Yeah, I got the expensive ones. I wouldn't say expensive, they're £30. You can get cheaper ones on there, but my wife tried the cheaper ones and I don't think they were actually blue blocking glasses. I reckon they were just like some
clear lens
garbage.
Yeah.
So try and get the expensive ones if you can. If you need to look at your devices and you need to, even if you're watching TV a bit later, try and put them on. You feel a bit silly putting them on sometimes, but I do find that it helps me fall asleep faster if I do wear them. So keeping it dark is important. We both use the same device as well to keep our beds cool, which we find.
The Oula system.
Oula, there's loads of stuff out there. There's a Sleep 8 system, which I don't know if it's delivering to the UK yet, but the Oula one delivers, because it's the one we've both got.
When I was researching all this, so the Oula system, the chili pad is like it's like an electric blanket for your bed, but you can cool it as well. And I think I found the optimum temperature for deep sleep was between 17 and 19 degrees.
17 is too cold for me.
I got mine. I put mine to 15 sometimes.
15.
But I bought mine last summer, just as the heat wave started, and I swear to God, it was worth 10 times the investment. Because, I got one for Becky as well, my Becky, and we sleep like now. It's hot now. We sleep through the night beautifully.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's what it is. It's a pumping system, so it pumps water around the bed. So it takes your body heat that you're producing, sucks it away, and then it'll cool it. So it cools your body down. So it keeps you at 19 degrees is where I like to keep it.
Weak.
That's where I can keep it. And also I found that even at 19, sometimes, especially in the winter, I used to wake up at like 4:30 cold. So there's different stuff on there. So you can get ones that are double controlled. So my wife likes it a bit hotter. Okay, I like mine a bit cooler just for that recovery aspect. I used to have to knock it up a little bit at 4:30. So at 4:30, it changed itself to like 20, 21. And then say if I get up at 6, it kicks in that warm wake as well. Warm wake,
that's the thing as well. You can schedule in what's called a warm wake. So in the morning, I think about 5 o'clock mine comes on. And then it goes from like 16, 17 degrees up to whatever the max is. And turns into an electric blanket at that point. And that's, again, scientifically, I read into all this. That's the optimal way to wake your body up out of deep sleep. So, mate, we're going to have to rattle on from this because we've been going on about this for like the last 25 minutes. But just some last little tips from my point. Have you got any more?
No, I haven't.
I was just going to talk about things like stretching in the evening, maybe having a Epsom salt bath.
Yes.
Just getting that into that relaxation mode. And then during the night now, I play a 90-minute frequency wave. Nice. Again, I'm not a scientist. I looked into all the alpha, beta, delta, theta waves and all this lot, and I can't remember which one it is, but one of them, I think it might be theta waves, is scientifically proven to activate that part of your brain what encourages deep sleep.
Yeah.
So I have this thing, and Becky loves it too. You put it on quite a low volume, doesn't have to be loud, and it's this one particular one for me that I listen to is just insane. Like I'm out in, you know, when you fall asleep but you don't remember falling asleep.
Yeah.
Like every night I put that on and I'm just poof, I'm out cold, and then I wake up when the Oula system kicks in, the warm wake, and I'm up and good to go. So, you know, stretching, relaxing, Epsom salt bath, and whatever you do to relax in the evening. Oh, and one thing as well, I used to read a lot in the evening. I don't do that anymore because I find it keeps my brain too active. Okay. Especially educational. You know, maybe like a biography or something like that.
Yeah.
But nothing that's going to get me thinking. Nothing that's nothing about jiu-jitsu or lines of training or business or any of that. Because it just keeps my brain too active before I'm trying to fall asleep. Right.
So this one was made at sleep. We can go into the rest of them on a different podcast at different times. The rest of them we're gonna talk about. For me, would have been like coffee intake, meal timings.
Let's do that. Let's just break this down to a very
into a 3-part.
This is part 1.
Part 1.
Part 2 soon.